Get chills when you hear Renegade? Got a collection of terrible towels? Well, if you do, then yinz will fit right at home. Welcome to the Huddle, a Steelers podcast. Join Gage and Ron as we talk all things black and gold. We might even talk about some things Steelers wise. How about that? Hey, Gage, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, just fantastic. How's it going?
Oh my gosh. Hey, folks, my name is Ron, or they call me Steel, and we're sitting in here with Gage, Ryan, and we're talking all things Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's right, folks. There is a preseason game tonight. That's right, folks. Football is in season and back with a vengeance. And here we go.
The anticipation is just absolutely killing me. I can't wait to see, our third and fourth string quarterbacks and
Wait, wait,
all
wait.
sorts of
What?
stuff.
Wait. Hold on. Wait, you said third and fourth string quarterbacks.
Something like that.
Well, hold on. Breaking news. Hold on. This was just handed to me. Our
Uh-oh.
third string quarterback is not playing tonight.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
wait. Oh, wait. Hold on. Also breaking news. First string quarterback Aaron Rodgers is not playing tonight. Uh, Breaking news. Pittsburgh only has this many quarterbacks on the roster right now. That leaves, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mason Rudolph show for tonight. Yeah, right. Applause in the background.
Oh man. And it's not like Mason's bad. He's just, probably the most probably the like I don't know, between Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, and Will Howard. I mean, I'd much rather see Will Howard and Mason than Aaron Rodgers preseason or regular season. But at the same time, we're just kind of left like, oh, the guy who we have the most tape on, the most snaps in a Steelers uniform between these three quarterbacks, and that's the one that we get to watch pretty much all night tonight. That's great.
Like a repeat of 3 years ago. Like it never went away. The only thing he removed is the guy that's now up there in the Buffalo, right? Who came from Chicago.
Thank God. Can we just please never have him in a Steeler uniform again? I will never forgive Mike Tomlin for making me watch Mitch Trubisky throw the football for 2 years. It was so embarrassing. They
Okay,
extended him.
right?
Everybody forgets about that. They signed him to a 1 year deal, and then, if I'm not mistaken, they extended him to two more. He didn't make it through two more, but the fact that they extended him is just baffling to me.
Okay. So the long laundry list of players that's not playing in the first preseason game this evening, including almost all the new players that have been added: the DK Metcalfs, the Darius Slays,
Mm,
TJ Watts. And none of those guys are going to play.
they
Um,
better
it's
not.
it's the first preseason game tonight. You're going to see a lot of third, fourth, fifth string guys because there's 93 guys on the roster right now. You know what I mean? And so, yeah,
A lot of Best Buy workers and jet ski salesmen.
whatever, right? And
God bless them.
a lot of guys with hopes and dreams that's going to get an opportunity to get their body of work on some tape so that some maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers might not be picking them up, but maybe another team will get to pick them up or whatever the case is. So at least there's going to be some tape on some of these guys. I'm really going to be interested to see a couple players, and one that we talked about before the show that you had mentioned, and one that I'd mentioned, and the one that I want to see is the two guys that we both mentioned. So why don't you mention the guy that you mentioned there first, Gage?
So we had two, right? There were two. There was
Yeah.
one on offense and one on defense, and it was
Right.
Derek Harmon on the defense and Roman Wilson on the offense.
Right, because you picked Aaron Harmon on the defense, and I picked Roman
Mhm.
Wilson on the offense. So, all right,
Mhm.
so we're both interested to see these guys. I mean, Darren Harmon, first overall pick for the Steelers. You know, their first round draft pick this past year. So yeah, I want to see him play.
Oh yeah,
But
and
I
he's just
hear
yeah. I just need to see something, right?
something. But I hear, or what I've read, or what I've seen, is that he has had an amazing camp so far. Has been playing really, really well, and with the amount of players on the defensive line that the Steelers now find themselves with.
Mm.
Okay. Quite a rotation. They might end up having that sixth or seventh guy potentially. Do you know what I mean? So that's going to open
Yeah.
the door for Harmon potentially to suit up some games,
Mm.
and do the Mike Tomlin, oh, bring it in slow.
Oh yeah. Got to make sure, and not for not, Bill Cowher did a lot of that stuff too in his day, where it was like, Joey Porter, you are gonna wait until like the tail end, basically, of your
You
rookie
know,
year before you're getting any significant
you know,
playing time. You're gonna sit here and you're gonna wait like the rest of these friggin' newbies.
you
There's
know.
an element of earning your stripes there, which I appreciate. It's football, but at the same time, I think we all know Derek Harmon. I think he already got the first, or I think he was already named the starter at his position. So, and I've heard from people like Brett Coleman, who like their comp to him was Stephon Tuitt. They're like, listen, he'll be a Steeler for a decade. Don't even worry about it. So I'm very
Right.
excited to see him.
Right. And I'm excited to see him as well too, because I want to see how this rotation in the defensive line is going to happen, especially without Captain Cam Bam Hayward, who
Mm-hmm.
is now suddenly asking for more money. And look, I'm a little bit sour on this, I got to be honest with you, because he signed a 2-year extension last year, okay? And although they kind of expected him to have more of a reduced role, and that was not necessarily the case, okay? And he
Yeah.
played a lot more than what they thought he was going to play, and he had an all-pro season again, right?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
still able to have a great season, right? The problem is that his $14.5 million he was making for this year, he's already gotten 13 million of it already, right? So the rest of the year he's only going to make another
Uh,
million, right? So
he
now
wants
he
some more
wants.
guarantees.
Okay, right? You see what okay. You wait
I'm
till.
not bent out of shape out about it. I don't like the timing of it very much, but I can't
Okay,
say that I hate the acquisition.
I don't have a problem with paying the man, because pay the man,
Mm.
right? I mean, you made TJ Watt, and so that's what he's looking at. He's looking at, oh man, they just made TJ Watt the highest paid non-quarterback to play the football game. Well, hey guys, how about throwing some over here to your Captain Cam over here? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And now he wants to hold out now, or not play, or not practice, or you know what I mean? And it's like, oh man, come on.
And what sucks is that this doesn't normally happen to us because this is something that they like to get done. This is something that they like to have everything completely put away. Everything's been settled by the beginning of camp usually, but by the beginning of the regular season certainly, because they don't like that stuff hanging over. They like, if they're going to extend you, they're going to extend you before the season, not after it. And I hate that this is happening, especially with one of our defensive captains. I mean, you got TJ and you got Cam, and those are the two big dogs in the
And you
house.
traded Minka.
And you traded Minka.
I mean, I don't get it. What are you doing? Now look,
Don't
I'm
you know
not.
Jalen Ramsey just automatically fixes everything?
Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to be one. He's among the other players that's not going to play tonight either.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I'm starting to get nervous now. Okay, right? Because yeah, we've got a nice rotation on the defensive line, but it all kind of stems from Cam Hayward. And if Cam Hayward is not really there on the defensive line, now you've got a rather gaping hole. Okay.
I
So,
don't like the timing, like we mentioned, right? But there's part
right.
of me that understands, because here's what I'm thinking. If we're just speculating and guesstimating a little bit here, is that there have been multiple seasons throughout Cam's career, especially here in the tail end, where he has been asked to do far more than he probably signed up for. Not that he's going to sit there and complain about it, but whenever you're asked to do, let's say 30, 40, 50, 60% of snaps, and you're doing damn near 100% whenever TJ goes down, all of a sudden there's going to be, hey, like, you know, do you remember Jason Peters? Do you remember him having those issues a couple years ago where like, hey, if you're
Yes.
going to make me be a lineman full time, you're going to pay me like a full time lineman? I get it. I can't really argue with him like or
Right.
Cam. It the timing of it just sucks. But I think that Cam might have been sensing that this could be another year where he's asked to do more than he was probably contractually. He doesn't want to end up like Mike Hilton.
And I agree. No, look, I'm always going to side with the players.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what sport, I'm always going to, especially for hockey and football, I'm always going to side with the players because the players are the ones that have the limited careers. The players are
Mm-hmm.
the ones that are putting their necks literally on the line every night. Okay. And they're the ones that are sacrificing their bodies every single night to make it happen for everything here. Okay. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
always going to go for the players on this. Right. But I agree, man. The timing on this is really bad. And it's not a good look. It really is not a good look. And oh, I understand and I get it, but your timing is really bad. You should have done this back in March, long before we get into camp, long before we start getting into the first preseason game. Because I'm going to tell you something, right? Pittsburgh Steelers are going to strap it up tonight against the Jacksonville Jaguars down in their place. Okay. And it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be hot. Okay. And it's going to be nasty. Right. And you're going to actually have pads and people are going to be hitting and you're going to be popping. Okay. This isn't Friday Night Lights anymore now. This isn't backs on backers. This is for real. Right. This is where it counts.
And in a miserable spot to play.
Not really yet. It doesn't really count yet. But everybody's going to be looking at preseason going, well, they went 1-2 in the preseason. Or, they went 0-3 in the preseason. Look, you don't want to go 0-3 in the preseason. You know what I'm saying, right?
Look,
Just
Kenny
saying.
Pickett is the greatest preseason quarterback of all time. But so that doesn't make a bit of difference.
And we ain't even going to see that neither because he's hurt too.
Oh, that's right. I did hear about that.
Right? He's got a
Him
hammy.
and Gabe, I think are both down.
Well, the Shador, the Sanders kid, has a sore shoulder, and Gabe and Falco are the only ones that are healthy on the Browns. See, so that's what I mean. The Steelers are kind of in a worse boat now because Will Howard's down. He fractured a bone in his hand. And he's going to be out for at least 2 weeks. And that's who I was kind of hoping we were going to see today in this
Me
first
too.
game, right?
It took away a lot of my interest in said game. I'll still probably watch it because it's football and we love it. But probably 60% of the reason I wanted to watch was because it was going to be the Will Howard show, supposedly.
Right? Okay. So, but we're gonna see, everybody standing around on the sidelines, and all the starters, quote unquote. So, but
Hmm.
now the Steelers are only down to one one other quarterback, which would be Mason Rudolph. So I guess he's gonna play the whole game tonight because they don't really have another guy
Did
to
we let go of
play,
Skylar Thompson?
huh?
Did we let go of Skylar Thompson? Is he gone?
I thought he was gone. Yeah,
This
but
is probably old news. I'm showing how little I've paid attention this off season.
me a I thought that I only thought there was only the two other quarterbacks other than Aaron Rodgers in the room, and that's why I was like completely worried that usually there's a fourth camp arm, and but there hasn't been, and unless Skylar's there, hey, unless they made a
Yeah,
phone call and said, "Hey, buddy, you got a minute?"
yeah. Well, according to Wikipedia, so take it for what it's worth. But yeah, apparently Skylar's still on the Steelers, and they very well might have just called him in the last day or two. Who knows?
And said, "Hey, buddy, you got a minute? You want to play
Yeah,
some ball for us? Come on out." So we're gonna see Skylar then and Mason.
yeah.
All
Most
right,
likely.
all right, all right. So hey, there's another quarterback on the team. Well, what does that tell you, folks? Okay, come on.
I want to see the emergency quarterback. We need to bring Jesse James back and have him be the emergency QB, and we're
By
gonna
the way,
have him
he
play.
did catch that ball, and it's been what 2,700 odd days now or something crazy like that. Okay.
Oh man. Shout out
Just
to Jesse
saying.
James caught that ball.
Right. Just saying, by the way, shout out. Okay. So Pittsburgh playing Jacksonville, first preseason game. Almost hardly anybody's playing. And we're down to, the emergency practice squad quarterback, and Mason Rudolph is going to play the game tonight because you can't expect him to play the whole game in the first preseason. No, that's too much work. Can't do that. So I'm going to be interested to see I want to see Roman Wilson at least go out there and catch a couple balls because I haven't heard very good things coming out of camp from him about him
Nah,
not
neither have I.
catching balls. You know what I mean? And he was the guy that, yeah, he was injured all of last year, but he was our, top wide receiver we were supposed to be picking, and well,
I don't
what does
know.
my
Like the thing
silence
is,
tell you?
yeah, really. It's I want to see what he can do, but I also haven't seen anything of what he can do. It's like it's not like he's a miserable player or anything, but I just kind of wonder what like with Deontay Johnson, you knew immediately what his strength was, his route running. With AB, it was his elusiveness and his ability to kind of cover distance quickly. With
And
Martavis
catch the
Bryant, it was his
ball and get
speed.
open.
Yeah, everybody had their attributes that you could see where the potential was. But I'm looking at guys like Roman, and I just kind of wonder what does he do at an elite level. So I mean, who knows?
Exactly. And we're gonna see if we're gonna see if what his game did in Michigan, if it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
translate. You know what I mean? Because
Tomlin loves him some Michigan.
I, I, maybe it was because there was a hardball up there coaching him. I don't know, but uh, I I'm not seeing it, Mike. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing it, all right?
Michigan and Maryland, you can guarantee he's going to get some picks from
At
those two
least
places.
one player every draft, at least one player from every draft, right? You know what I mean? But
So I often wonder, I want to ask you this. So
okay,
yeah, Hayward wants a raise. Would you give it to him?
absolutely.
You'd still give it to him? I would too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would too. Right? And if he wants to, I'd even, hey man, sign for another year.
I appreciated with that extension that any elite play he has left, we're going to get out of him and not another team.
So that's what I'm saying. If you want to sign for another year, okay, we'll sign you for another year. Now, this next year we're going to sign you for ain't going to be what we signed you for this year.
I pray this doesn't end up another DeAndre Hopkins situation where the guaranteed money is really what stops everybody. Because I get it. Like from Cam's perspective, he's like, hey, I'm older. I'm at the end of my career. You're asking me to do a lot more, and you're only guaranteeing me $1 million, and then you can just cut me. Like I no, I get it. It sucks. It's a garbage situation that
It
the
is.
Steelers kind of have no one to blame but themselves for putting themselves in.
Like always. Everything that has
Yes.
happened to them is because they put themselves in that situation. Do you know what I mean? I guarantee you that Troy Polamalu had at least another year left in him. At
You think so?
not necessarily at the Tasmanian Devil level,
Oh, okay.
okay, but let me ask you a question. If you got 80% of Troy Polamalu playing the game right now, would you take that
Right. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a year?
I would.
For a
Yeah,
year?
definitely.
So why didn't y'all just pay him for one more year to let him retire, walk off into you know what I mean? And he had that kind of level left in him, in my opinion. 80% of Troy Polamalu was at the time gobs better than just about any other guy you're going to get back there.
I could hear that. I was kind of thinking about Hines Ward and about how I thought he had a decent year or two left in him, but then I looked at his stats from his last year,
He
where he
didn't.
played 15 games and only had
Yeah.
300 some yards.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Well,
Sometimes coaches know best.
but they also basically cut him out of the game plan where
Really?
well, you knew when he was being game planned. You because he caught most of the balls. He was the one going across the middle, blah blah blah. He was Ben's favorite target there for a couple of years, and you knew he
Yeah.
was being game planned. So in the final years when he was not being game planned for anymore,
It was like
catch it
Mike Wallace,
all
I think.
right. And there was a whole bunch of other guys that came in that circled around, and eventually we
Mhm.
were like, okay, well. But Troy Polamalu is one of those rare exceptions. I would have tried to keep him around. And if you're gonna keep Cam around and pay him like I would pay him, I'd give him another, 10 million, whatever, what?
Yeah, I don't know what his demand would be on that one. I
Right.
mean, we all know that it probably just boils down to the guarantees, but like what would he be willing to take as a guarantee to come back for this year?
I mean, you're already signed, you already got your money, you're already paid. So there is that aspect of it,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. But it does boil down to guarantees. It's kind of like how had DeAndre Hopkins when he was with the Texans about how Bill O'Brien outright refused, denied him multiple times to give him any guaranteed money over the course of like 3 seasons. He's like, "Are you out of your mind? I'm not playing for you like that." Like yeah, not to be a broken record, but I get it.
I understand. Like I said, I understand. Um, I'm glad that we did get to see, TJ Watt get to sign his deal. And um, so here's my thing, okay? And I don't want to get us going too long here on this because, look, it is the first preseason game. It is going to be against Jacksonville. We're not going to see a lot of the guys that we would like to see in this game. We're going to see a lot of the third, fourth, and fifth string guys, which that's okay. That's no problem because some of these guys are going to potentially make a shot. I mean, at one point in time, James Harrison was on that list, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
many other players were on that list. So the dream can still be alive for other guys.
And Bill
And
Coward just didn't like him for some reason. Mike Tomlin was the one that really kind of brought him into the fold.
and it proved out that, man, if you would have gotten him when he was a little younger,
Yeah.
you could have gotten him for that much longer at that level. I mean, could you imagine him at
He's
24?
already he's already like a Hall of Very Good, bordering on Hall of Fame kind of guy. And so just imagine you gave him another, what, 5, 6 years that he was kind of robbed of.
At his peak
Oh,
physically?
yeah.
I mean, the dude is a freaking machine. Anyway,
No, it's the
one of my all-time favorite Steeler, by the way, James Harrison. I don't care what anybody says. He is one of the all-time favorite Steelers. You have to put him up there. Look, he was as far as I'm concerned, he was a hybrid because he was a little bit too big to be a true linebacker. Like he was not
mm,
going to be a Mac linebacker. That was not
mm,
his thing, right? But
nah.
but he was more built like a defensive end.
Yes.
He just didn't have the height. You know, if he had a
Mm,
couple more inches on him, he would be playing defensive end, not linebacker.
mm.
Be- but his power and his explosiveness off the line is what got him where he was all the way through his whole entire career.
His attitude, like his just inabilities, like, no, go to hell, you're not blocking me. This, like, how some guys just want it more than others. And I think that James is a perfect example of the guy who just kind of wanted it more than you did, wouldn't give up on
Oh,
plays, kind of had
man.
that cutthroat motor kind of
Yeah,
thing. He
dude.
was great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. Look, if you put your hand in the dirt to that next to that guy, you might as well strap it up, bring a lunch, bring some friends, you know, bring an IV bag, an ambulance, because you're gonna feel some pain. It's gonna hurt, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he's oh my gosh, man. I don't know, man. I would I don't intimidate easily as a human being. But man, if I was putting my hand down in the dirt next to him and going up against him, I would be a little bit shaking in my boots.
Yeah, no, thank you. I would.
Right.
I'll take that. I'll take anybody else but James on that one because he's gonna run through you.
I would even take Ronnie Lott.
Oh, jeez.
I would right a woo hit. I would even take a woo hit, Ronnie Lott, rather than take a hit from James Harrison because no thanks.
The fact that like it's something you'd consider is it like says a lot about how good he was. Because my goodness, Ronnie would he was basically the equivalent. I don't know if you know the pro wrestling move, the clothesline from hell. Like that's kind of what would going up against Ronnie Lott was like in a lot of.
That's why I love him, man, because he would say a woo hit. Well, what's a woo hit? Well, when you hit a guy so hard, the crowd goes woo. Like, yeah, that's a woo hit. Like, I like that. I'm going to use that. Just did, by the way. So, all right, Jacksonville Jaguars against Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. Looking forward to this game. I'm gonna see what we got here back with Mason Rudolph. He's had some time with another team. Now he's back with a new offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, and we're gonna see how this is gonna work out. I'm wondering if we're gonna see our running back Jacoby, if or no, it's Caleb. I'm sorry. If we're gonna see Caleb tonight, maybe we're probably not gonna see Jalen Warren. But I'm hoping we see some Caleb because, man, what I've seen from him in camp, he's another one that's been having a really good camp. It's just another guy that has that motor, brings that energy, has that, you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to seeing some of this guy run tonight. And I'm looking forward to seeing this offensive line. I want to see the offensive line. I want to see how they come together and see how they rotate out and see how things go for tonight.
There's always something to look at. There's always something to keep your focus on when it comes to preseason. But with the Steelers, especially, like with this team runs through the lines. Like this team's lifeblood is the O line and the D line. And shout out to Andy upstairs. He's the one that's kind of been orchestrating a lot of that, along with Omar, obviously. But they've been far more line centric. And so actually, like since Will Howard's gone, I think the thing that I'm most interested in, to your point, is how both lines perform. Because if we don't have an O line, especially with a geriatric Scientologist Rogers behind center, it is over.
Well, we're not going to have him for that long.
Thank God.
Right? Because like week 5 or 6. Anyway, speculation. Sorry, but man, Gage, I'll tell you what. We got football back, brother.
Yeah, finally.
Right? That means that we got 5-star coming soon.
Oh man,
I had to say
a bunch of content in the chamber for 5-star. That's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. But be looking forward to the Huddle is what we're going to be calling this show here with Gage and Ron, and we're going to be doing this all about Pittsburgh Steelers, all about black and gold, and so be looking forward to that. Thanks all for joining us and checking us out. Gage, why don't you tell the folks where we can find you and where we can get all your great stuff, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Gage Ryan Video. You can find my Yu-Gi-Oh content on YouTube at Gage Ryan Video, and you can find my MMA content if you like anything mixed martial arts at Contender MMA.
Yeah, man, for sure. Stay tuned for a big announcement coming from yours truly here in the whole group here. We got a major announcement coming up here real soon. So I teased it a little bit on X the other day, and I teased a little bit on Facebook, but we're gonna have a big major announcement coming out here real soon, and I can't wait to let everybody know what's going on. So be sure to check that out. Thanks all for joining us. We'll catch you guys all in the next episode of The Huddle.